Are you feeling burnt out, overwhelmed, disconnected, and like you want to strip your clothes off, take off your shoes, and just sprint off into the woods, never to be seen again? If so, this video is for you. In today's video, we are going to be talking all about feral self-care. And if you're new here, my name is Mandy M, and I literally wrote the book on feral self-care. Feral Self-Care, 100 Ways to Liberate and Celebrate Your Messy, Wild, Untamed Self. I also wrote a few other things that you might enjoy, so feel free to check those out. But in this video specifically, we are going to talk about feral self-care as like a wellness modality or approach to life or whatever the hell you want to call it, and the 8 specific principles to lean into if you want to go feral in your life. But first, if you're new here, make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you want to bring more feral energy into your life, check the description of this video for a link to my free Feral Self-Care Project Facebook group. I'll also be dropping a link to my seasonal membership program, the Feral Self-Care Collective, where we spend 3 months of targeted work once a week for 60 to 90 minutes a week, kind of working on these principles and making sure that we're actually putting action behind them so that we can feel happier, freer, and more joyful in our lives. Now, the Feral Self-Care Ethos. What are the 8 principles of feral self-care? So feral self-care is all about reclaiming your primal wild self. It's about radical self-acceptance in a world that is built on suppressing us. Oftentimes we go through life feeling uninspired, demotivated, we feel broken, and the truth is we are just flawed human beings having a flawed human experience. We have been domesticated, we have been tamed, and we live in a society that really has a lot of very obvious and very subtle programming that tells us kind of how we're allowed to show up if we're going to be accepted and So going feral is all about honoring your primal nature, your animal instincts, and your creative and free self-expression in a world that has trained us to be blind to our own power. Core principle of feral self-care number 1 is to remember your wild. We live in a society and a world that really kind of asks us to be domesticated, asks us to be tamed, and we have a lot of impulse. We have a lot of very animal instincts, and we kind of get taught and we learn that these are things that we should suppress. But in every single one of us, there is a primal wild within that is just itching to get out. So feral self-care isn't about rejecting modern life, it's about making space for this wildest, freest version of yourself. Where domestication kind of teaches us to perform, feral self-care really dares us to just be in our natural state without judgment. So core principle number 2 is rewilding, connecting with nature. Nature is our birthright. We are part of nature. This is a part of our world that can bring us so many wellness benefits. This is backed by science. When we take the time to recalibrate with Earth, when we take the time to ground our energy, to spend time out in nature, this is immensely healing. Not only mentally, but physically as well. Learning from the earth can recalibrate our nervous system, and it can also reconnect our soul. So if you want to feel whole again, go sniff some dirt, go fucking hug a tree, go out there and just like spin around in a field. Ultimately, this is about reclaiming your mammalian self. Feral self-care core principle number 3 is embracing the sensory portal of your body. The modern human experience makes us kind of operate here in this disembodied state up in our heads where we will distract ourselves, overthink, and judge our natural kind of sensual primal urges. Feral self-care reminds us that we live in the body and we need to tap back into that shit. Oftentimes we suffer quite a lot because we are avoiding the sensations of living in our body, or we're ignoring those sensations. You know, what is a fuck yes? What is a fuck no? So feral self-care asks us to turn off this like inner monitoring system and tune back into our skin, into our bodies, into the actual felt experience of our lives. Core principle number 4 is weaving chaos. There are things in this world we can control, and there are things in this world that we cannot. It is a massive fucking waste of energy to try and fight tides that are unfightable. Chaos is not the enemy, it is the compost. Have you ever seen that meme that's like, if mushrooms can grow from shit, so can I? That's literally what this is all about. We are not here to fight the mess. It's a way better use of your energy to learn to weave it, to learn to grow from it, and to create from the wreckage. Core principle number 5 is embracing creativity and play. Play is a sacred rebellion, particularly in a world where everything is all about doom. There are always going to be 5,001 reasons why you should be dysregulated at any given point, but play and joy is a sacred rebellion. Creativity is also survival, and it is a natural dimension of the human experience. So a lot of people tend to look at this and say, well, I'm not an artist, so I'm not creative. That's wrong. That is wrong. If you're a human being, you are creative. The ability to problem solve is creative. Even if you have anxiety and you think like 500 crazy fucking things in a row, that is a great example of how creative human beings and the human brain naturally is. Now, when it comes to feral self-care and creativity and creative play, we aren't so much about aesthetics as the actual process, the felt experience, working through the emotions, using it as a really deep tool for wellness and inner work. Core principle number 6 is navigating the swamp within. This is the realm of the shadow. This is the stuff that comes up where we feel like we need to distract ourselves from. Feral self-care tells us that this is where the medicine is. There are elements of you, there are pieces of you that are messy, they're murky, they're swampy, and these are the places where the core of your humanity is felt. There's a lot of talk in like growth, wellness, and spiritual spaces about ascension, but feral self-care tells us that we aren't trying to ascend to anything. We are trying to experience. We are trying to feel it. We are trying to dig deep into it and get comfortable with it. Core principle number 7 is primal community. Even if you identify as a lone wolf, as human beings, we are hardwired to need the aid, the assistance, and the companionship of the pack. We are not supposed to do this alone. So part of feral self-care is getting really familiar with how to ask for help and how to receive it. Feral self-care includes co-regulation, mirroring, and communal witnessing. Quick interruption, I just wanted to let you know that there is a link in the description down below to grab our totally free Feral Self-Care Starter Pack. This includes a guided meditation and 3 quickie practices along with some PDFs to help make it even more easy and more actionable for you. So make sure to grab that down below. And the last foundational pillar of feral self-care is acknowledging the realm of spirit. Human beings have been spiritual in some way for pretty much as long as we have record of. And this isn't about dogma. It's not about following specific rules. It's about recognizing that this is how the human brain takes things in and makes sense of them, processes them. No matter how secular you feel, as a human being, you have a spiritual nature and a spiritual dimension. So feral self-care really invites you to reconnect with mystery, with intuition, with that realm of spiritual connectedness. Now, an important thing to note about the feral self-care ethos and about feral self-care in general is that it really doesn't require you to go out and like buy a bunch of new shit. It doesn't require you to like show up in a certain specific way. This really is about liberation. It's about celebrating yourself as you truly are. And the thing is, you don't actually need a whole lot of like time, energy, and effort to do it because it really is a path of least resistance for us as human beings. So in my seasonal membership program, I've got a link below, which is called the Feral Self-Care Collective. We spend 60 to 90 minutes every single week in a community of like-minded people where we actually show up together and we do this work together. No more excuses, no more making self-care a chore to ignore. Just weekly activities that are either an actionable tool and practice or an experience that you can benefit from. Each season of the collective has 6 guest speakers and then 6 sessions run by me. Examples of the kind of things that we do are guided meditation, breathwork sessions, connecting to intuition, divination, creative play practices. So for example, this season we did a finger painting session, which is all about somatic work and just intuitively letting yourself create without judgment. And we're also going to be doing an archetype card practice where we are going to be tuning into different wild versions of ourselves and using collage in order to make sort of like an oracle card for ourselves as an activator of that element of ourself. So this program is play / spirituality / creative work / shooting the shit with your friends. And if you want more information about that, you can join my free group or you can check out my links below. So ultimately, feral self-care isn't self-care as a performance. It's really just a path of least resistance, going with the flow of your body, your intuition, and your needs. It's not another checklist. It's not another chore to ignore. It's not another thing you need a bunch of fucking shit for. Not another way to fix yourself as if you're some fucking problem. It's permission to unravel, to be the freest, most deprogrammed, unencumbered version of yourself, and to remember who you were before society and the world or whoever told you how you were supposed to be. This is a reclamation, a revolt, and it's also a very fun time. So make sure to like this video, drop me a comment. What do you think of Feral Self-Care? Have you read the book yet? I want to hear everything. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. Live feral, my friends.